What is professionalism? Professionalism refers to your total package, how you think, look, and act on the job. Your soft skills are a major component of professionalism. These are your personality traits such as work ethic, attitude, self-confidence, adaptability, and optimism. In addition to these traits, soft skills include skills such as time management, problem solving, and effective communication. Your soft skills are more important than your technical skills. What does professionalism mean to you? Be prepared to discuss this in our Zoom class today. Professionalism includes four major categories: attitude, appearance, behavior, and technical skills. Professionalism is extremely important in healthcare. Your professionalism can instill trust and provide competent care to the people who come to you for assistance, whether you provide direct patient care or work behind the scenes to support the healthcare process. While most people consider shopping or getting a haircut to be a pleasant experience, almost no one looks forward to a visit to the doctor, dentist, or to the hospital. Helping to ease these worries and fears of patients is the responsibility of everyone on the healthcare team. A professional attitude is how you view your work, and in turn, your attitude determines how you act, forming the foundation for your actions. Most jobs in healthcare consist of direct human contact, and what you do and say influences everyone with whom you interact. Even in jobs with minimal patient contact, such as surgical technology, the quality of your work, influenced by your attitude, can affect others in a significant way. You can interpret events positively, neutrally, or negatively. If you habitually choose to concentrate on the positives in your work environment, you will likely experience a more satisfying work life. Your appearance can influence the impression patients have about your competence. Clothes should be clean, pressed, and in good shape. Shoes should be clean and in good repair. Avoid fragrances, dangling jewelry, and long fingernails in which bacteria can hide. Make sure you bathe. This may sound silly, but you want to be odor-free with clean teeth and hair. We work in close proximity in the OR, so these things are important, more important than you may realize. We don't always think of healthcare as a business, but to be able to provide services, we must consider the business side: revenue, expenses, employees, legalities, and marketing. Healthcare is actually a huge industry. In fact, it is the largest service industry in the United States, with spending in 2012 of $2.8 trillion. It is also the fastest growing sector of the U.S. economy, employing over 18 million workers. Patient satisfaction is taken seriously by both those who pay for services, such as medical insurance companies and Medicare, and the providers of the health care. I would like for you all to take a look at box 11.2 in your textbook on page 204, consisting of the four elements of excellent service. A major component in excellent service in healthcare is how the providers interact with their patients, which is referred to as their bedside manner. Poor bedside manner, characterized by uncaring attitude, poor listening skills, and the inability to clearly convey information to patients, can have negative consequences. At the same time, patients who perceive good bedside manners are more likely to follow treatment and instructions, have more positive health outcomes, and be satisfied with the health care they receive. Some characteristics of a positive bedside manner are being a good listener, caring, compassionate, kind, sensitive, empathetic, and respectful. The Sullivan-Llewellyn Group in San Diego works with healthcare organizations to increase their patient satisfaction. They developed a service model known as CLEAR to organize the simple behaviors that enhance customer satisfaction: connect, listen, explain, ask, and reconnect. Connect meaning always acknowledge your patients immediately, even non-verbally if necessary. Always use eye contact and smile. Introduce yourself and let the patient know your position, and make sure your name badge is visible and turned so they can see. Address the patient by name and always use a warm voice, being polite. Use the basic manners we have all been taught. Use please and thank you. If the patient is older than you, address them as ma'am or sir. This is a sign of respect in the older generations, and you'll have a more successful chance of reconnecting with them. L for listen. Look them in the eye when they are speaking and make sure you have a pleasant expression on your face. Use an occasional head nod to indicate that you are paying attention. Explain. Use language that they will understand and avoid using abbreviations and acronyms. Ask. Ask questions. We want to ensure patient comfort. Make sure that they understand what is going on. Reconnect. Continue to check on the patient and make sure they are doing okay. Acknowledge patients and others as they are departing by saying, "Take care." This model will apply to you as a surgical technologist in the room. We will discuss this a little more today during our Zoom. The communication techniques used in healthcare interactions are often referred to as therapeutic communication, which is defined as the face-to-face process of interacting that focuses on advancing the physical and emotional well-being of a patient. Today's healthcare environment can be especially challenging for patients. They may be forced to change doctors whenever their insurance plan changes, or when they are seriously ill or injured, they may have to see a specialist they've never met. Modern technology is complex to some and can be very intimidating to patients. Another factor that has increased the need for good communication with patients is the Affordable Care Act, signed into law in 2010. The changes brought about by this law have resulted in many more Americans with health insurance and therefore increased access to health care. Allied health personnel are playing an increasingly important role working with patients to inform and create a bridge between patients and physicians or other providers. You may be the critical link that makes the difference between a satisfied patient and one who seeks care elsewhere. Listening demonstrates respect and shows that you care. It is only through listening and actually hearing what your patient is saying that you will understand and be able to assess their needs. It requires listening with a third ear. This means noting what the patient is not saying by picking up on his or her hints not directly stated, and trying to determine the real meaning of the patient's words. When speaking with patients, it is especially important that your messages are clear and complete, because how you are understood can have direct consequences on their well-being. Consider the following patient characteristics when composing your message to increase the chance that it is understood. Level of education, knowledge about his or her condition, their native language and their age. Do they have any sensory impairments? Consider their pain level and whether or not they have received medication, and if their state of mind or emotion, such as fear or anger. Limit the use of medical terminology. We may spend hours learning these words, but they are not everyday words for most people. They may confuse the patient. In addition to words, the tone of your voice sends a powerful message. Use proper grammar, speak at a moderate speed, don't mumble. You want your words to come across clearly. And avoid slang, especially that which is common to one age or cultural group. Avoid constantly repeating words or expressions such as like or you know. Try to avoid casual language such as cool or that sucks. Never use swear words. They can be offensive. An important component of verbal communication in healthcare is asking questions. We discussed the 4 major types of questions in Chapter 10. You can refer to Table 11.1 on page 207. Asking good questions facilitates communication and encourages patients to share in making decisions about their health. A patient's silence can indicate lack of understanding. Patients should be encouraged to ask their own questions. This enables them to share in making decisions about their health. They may be stressed by the healthcare environment as well as feeling vulnerable. These conditions can promote white coat silence, or the reluctance of patients to ask questions. You can encourage them to overcome this silence by asking them, what questions are on your mind, or what more would you like to know about your condition or your treatment options, test results, etc. Feedback is a technique for checking both your understanding as well as that of your listener. Because it is so important for you and the patients to understand each other, these are important tools in your communication toolbox. You can refer to Table 11.2 on page 209 for great examples of therapeutic communication techniques. Nonverbal communication usually communicates even more meaning than words. These emotional responses are done unconsciously, which is why they may contradict what a person says. Some suggestions for showing respect and helping to put a patient at ease are: sit at the same level, face the patient and lean towards them, always use a friendly tone and make eye contact, even when taking notes. Even if your day is hectic, try to maintain a relaxed manner so that patients don't feel rushed and as if they are just the number. Try to learn to read body language, both yours and that of your patient. Fidgeting or appearing distracted may be due to pain. It is important not to make assumptions. While you must consider the needs of each person with whom you are communicating, you may encounter patients who have needs beyond the normal, such as individuals who are terminally ill. A lot of dying patients want to express their fears and concerns. Let them know that you are available and willing to talk about their concerns. Individuals with sensory impairments, hearing loss is a growing percentage of the population due to aging. Face them directly and speak slowly and clearly. For blind patients, explain what you are going to do in detail and communicate verbally what would otherwise be communicated with gestures. And for patients with aphasia, which is the difficulty or inability to speak, enable the patient to point, use hand gestures, or even draw. For non-English speaking patients, request an interpreter if necessary. With individuals who are angry, remain calm and polite, listen carefully, express concern, and answer their questions. For individuals who are in pain or medicated, speak slowly and clearly, using simple language. Repeat information as necessary. And you may want to return a little later when they are able to communicate a little better. Another component of professionalism is considering the needs of others. There are times when it is necessary to put someone else's needs before your own. Good habit to practice is to continuously ask yourself, how does my behavior affect other people? For example, consider how you manage your time. Arriving late to work inconveniences your coworkers and may cause patients to wait unnecessarily. Your goal should be to help your supervisor solve problems, not become another problem that he or she must deal with. Common courtesy spreads more good than you might think. Don't take your coworkers for granted. Greet them with a smile and say please and thank you. Constantly complaining and whining can bring everyone down. Seek solutions instead. Discuss problems with your supervisor and offer possible solutions. It is common for coworkers to become friends, socializing during and after work, but it is best to avoid sharing too much personal detail, especially personal problems. During the last few decades, healthcare has changed more rapidly than at any time in history. Being able to adapt to continual change has become an essential part of professionalism. Change can be upsetting, especially if its consequences are unknown or difficult to implement. It is natural to resist a change that means an increased workload, the need to learn new policies and procedures, or the possibility of being moved to a different location or losing one's job altogether. Resistance to any change is a natural human response because we are creatures of habit. We like to know what to expect each day. There are a number of ways of coping with and handling change in a professional manner. Start by accepting the fact that change is going to occur. It is a fact of life. Make a decision to approach change with a positive attitude. Look for the benefits and new opportunities that may be open to you. Work to become an asset to your organization, someone who can be counted on to pitch in and get things done. Decide to be part of the team that helps accept and adjust to the change rather than being just another problem for the organization. To avoid being blindsided by change, keep up on the news of trends, discoveries, and government policies, such as the Affordable Care Act, that might affect your career. A few coping strategies that may help you deal with change are keep up with your own work, focusing only on what you can control. Use relaxation techniques such as meditation. Do a self-evaluation to determine where you best fit and take the opportunity to learn new skills. An essential component of your professionalism is knowing what you are doing, being technically competent. In order to not harm patients or disrupt the healthcare process, you must perform your occupational skills accurately and to the best of your ability. Attending class, studying to learn rather than to simply pass a test, and practicing hands-on skills to develop mastery are all steps to becoming technically competent. Resources to continue learning include the internet, your facilities library, if applicable, if available, professional journals, classes and workshops, and professional conferences. Remember, no one is perfect. Use mistakes as opportunities to handle difficulties as well as to learn something new. Summary of the key ideas from this chapter. Our professionalism includes your attitude, appearance, actions, and competence. The professionalism of healthcare workers influences the success of healthcare system. A high level of professionalism can be acquired through learning, effort, and practice. If you have any questions, please write them down and bring them to our Zoom today.